Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is my latest video of one of the projects I've been doing for Impreza. In this video I'm walking through the installation of the exhaust system. I did it in a couple of different stages. I did the axle back first, and then later I did the header install because I had planned it all to kind of happen at the same time, but delivery of the headers took a little while than I was planning on. The builder kind of got swamped and everything backed up, so the axle back went on first and then the headers went on second. So in the video I'm just kind of going to walk through what I did to put everything in. You don't necessarily have to follow me by any means and do it this way, but this is how I did it. So for headers, I went with an Inferno Fabrications stainless steel equal length headers, and for exhaust I used a Magnaflow stainless steel transverse muffler into dual outs with dual stainless steel tips, and we'll walk through that in a bit. I have the old exhaust out and laid side by side with the new exhaust, which I have to admit looks really good. So this isn't like an unboxing video or anything, but this is the Inferno Fabrications FB series equal length header exhaust. So when you take a look and compare it to the stock exhaust manifold, you can see that this section here and this section here are the same length, which means that this is an unequal length header. So all those fans of the boxer rumble, it's not the engine that's causing it, it's the exhaust pulse differential from these unequal length headers. That boxer rumble that everybody loves is a sign of decreased efficiency because of that exhaust manifold's unequal length headers. The scavenging is not as efficient as it would be with an equal length header, which is why, starting in, I believe it was the 2017 model year, Subaru did away with that unequal length and then went to an equal length factory header. So now this is the aftermarket Inferno header, all stainless steel. As you can see, I went with a second cat delete on the intermediate pipe. The primary cat is what the emission system uses for computer control anyway. The second downstream cat is just for bragging rights. So I deleted that. But all the hangers are in the stock location. They used a pipe clamp here for this section. For the O2 sensors, remember that the green wire with the gray plug is upstream and the black wire with the black plug is downstream. Make sure you don't cross those. You see here, green upstream, black downstream. And the O2 sensor should come... Sorry about the dub over here at a motorcycle go by and wreck my audio. So the O2 sensor should come with this anti-seize. Make sure that you use it to prevent any potential galling or seizing of threads on that stainless steel header. There it is. The whole thing came out very easily, maybe about 30-40 minutes worth of work total to get the exhaust system out. Very simple. I do recommend that you do it with the car completely cold. Those Subaru exhaust studs are known to snap occasionally, so I did it completely cold with generous helping of WD-40, and there's 3 14mm bolts on each side, and it came out really nice, really easily, no struggle at all. Alrighty, so install is where you are going to be presented with some challenges. Certainly if you're using this kit, probably others as well. So challenge number 1, fit up. The Inferno kit doesn't come with studs pressed into the flange here, so you'll need to use stainless steel hardware. Stainless steel tubes means stainless steel bolts and fasteners. I use 10mm by 35mm bolts. They are readily available from Lowe's, so that's what I used. Stainless steel hardware is famously susceptible to seizing. I lost 2 bolts to seizing, and I had to just gorilla twist them off. So I used the nickel-based anti-seize that's specifically recommended for stainless steel applications. Now I also found that the header and the intermediate pipe didn't quite line up exactly like the factory pieces did underneath the car, so I had to assemble those 2 pieces out of the car, and I'm going to have to manipulate them into the car and get them in place that way. And you want to be careful when you're doing the connection, because again, stainless steel hardware is susceptible not only to seizing but to galling as well. So I supported the tail end so there was no weight on the bolts while I was fastening them, because if you try and use the bolts to cinch down the pieces, you'll wind up with thread galling, and then your bolts are useless and you got to replace them. Challenge number 2, the connector piece here was intentionally cut long to allow you to cut it to length. Now this is a stainless steel piece, so if you're going to cut it, I'm going to use a bandsaw blade with a clean blade that's never cut anything before. Do not cut stainless steel with anything that has ever cut anything besides stainless steel. You will introduce those metal dissimilarities into the stainless, and then you'll destroy that metal. So use a clean blade. Challenge number 3, the skid plate here gets in the way of the installation, so I'm going to have to cut this little ear off of it to make room for the exhaust pipe, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So next piece, I'll show you everything all bolted in and connected. So here is the exhaust installed. Takes a bit of wiggling and jiggling to get everything in place, but eventually it does go in. With the stud bolts, I just cleaned them up a bit and put a dab of anti-seize on each bolt, and I cannot stress enough, do not over tighten those bolts. Follow proper torque specs. Here's with the skid plate trimmed to make room for the pipe there. Got a fair amount. Now down at the tail end of this pipe is where we start to run into problems. So some of the tube sections here are welded out of rotation just a little bit, and so as a result, this tail end of this exhaust pipe is sticking almost right straight up towards the floorboard, and the outflow end of here, you can't possibly get it to line up. There's just a huge gap. It's no good. So I'm gonna have to take this stub section to Midas and have it bent up so that it can bolt in. Something I didn't expect to have to do, unfortunately. So here's the final exhaust connection post bend. Just had the local Midas shop throw a 10-degree bend in there so everything would line up. It's not ideal. Of course, they didn't have a true bender. It's just one of those big pipe kinkers, so it doesn't put a nice smooth bend in it like the rest of the system. So I'll have to see what I can do about that, but in the meantime everything else is buttoned up, and I'm going to throw the skid plate back on and
go from there. For the axle back system, I did something a little bit unorthodox. I didn't like any of the off-the-shelf systems, so I used a Magnaflow series muffler, transverse outlets, one on each side, part number 12266, 2 1/4 outlet into dual outs, which I can't remember the part number at the moment, but I will make a note of it in the comments. But they're stainless steel tips. For the moment, I'm keeping the stock resonator because I didn't really see any particular need to replace that for now. I'm not looking for a very overpowering exhaust sound. I wanted something nice and mellow, but not too pronounced or loud. So this is what I went with. I heard a lot of the complaints from the Borla folks who didn't really like the cabin noise or the sound of the car afterwards. So I'm excited to hear what this sounds like.
All right, so final thoughts. I have to say I'm really happy with not just the exterior sound, but the interior. There's hardly any increased cabin noise. There's a little bit when I'm under power, but it's a nice, smooth, mellow sound. It's not raspy. It's not harsh. It doesn't have a lot of that tinny sound that some of the Axleback systems have. It's very nice, and I'm very happy with it. Overall, power from the headers is actually pretty noticeable, and the power is nice and linear, comes on early, and it stays strong all the way through the power curve. Aside from the hiccups and some of the minor little bugs with the fit up, the Inferno headers are a very good product, and I would definitely not hesitate to recommend those. And then the Magnaflow products are also fantastic. I've been overall really, really happy with this system. For future, stay tuned. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. I am going to be working towards installing a pretty substantial increase on the lift that I'm sitting right now, just as a little bit of a tease. I'm planning on a 3-inch strut spacer lift with a 1-inch coil lift for a total of 4-inch overall lift on 32-inch tires. I'm going to make that happen. So stay tuned.